I think this disc is the most overstable non-speed on the market. And some of you are probably thinking that I'm talking about the Captain's Raptor from Discraft, but I'm not. I'm actually talking about the Crazy Hawk from Jester Disc Golf. And like the name would suggest, this disc is pretty crazy stable. And then after I play a couple of holes, I'm going to attempt some like big distance with these, and I'm hoping I'll at least get them past like 300 feet. But if I don't, it just kind of proves how overstable they are. So before we get into the rest of the video, huge shout out and thank you to Jester Disc Golf. They actually sent me out 6 of these, and I'm giving 3 of them to one of my friends who can throw like much further than me, and he's going to make some really cool shorts. Over at Empire Disc Golf, he makes like the best shorts. He's just really good at it too, and really good YouTube videos. So shout out to him. But over here, we're going to play a couple of holes like I always do with some disc reviews. First hole, it's wide open, 307 feet. Hyzer throw with this, and the other 2 I think are just going to be like kind of pure Anheuser, because trying to throw these flat I don't think is going to be that effective just because they're so stable. And they actually sent me out the Crazy Hawk in their Radiant Taffy plastic, which is like the swirly kind of blend, and it has a lot more dome to it. And then this is a glow plastic, and I'm not really sure what the name of it is yet, like as far as the plastic blend, but it is significantly more flat. Just to show you a little bit more of a difference. Both have really high parting lines, but the swirly blend has just the slightest bit of dome to it. Very overstable. Try to throw a big hyzer. Oh, it was hyzer. It was wide. I mean, that might be like Circle's Edge. Alright, I'm going to throw this glow one, super Anheuser, which if you know anything about my channel, super Anheuser probably just means like normal Anheuser, because I really have to focus to throw Anheuser. I feel like that was pretty Anheuser. How hard that fought out. That's insane. I think these Radiant Taffy ones, I think they will actually have a little bit more flex in the board flat. We'll see. Oh yeah, way more push. Ooh, and a little backspin to the basket. Okay. So first thoughts with this Crazy Hawk. It is crazy stable. It is a very, very stable disc. I'm just going to go ahead and give like a disclaimer. This disc is not for someone who just doesn't really throw hard or throw forehands. I think if you can throw a forehand, you can find a use for this disc. But if you do not throw like at least 300 feet or more on backhand, this disc is going to be like a tilt for you. Like it is just going to go straight to the ground. That being said, I think most of these actually kind of got up here, which I'm like really happy about. And the plastic as well, like with everything Jester Disc Golf, their plastic is amazing. Especially their base plastic. If you haven't checked out their base plastic, their Love putters are some of my favorite feeling putters that I've ever used. Alright, so this board flat glow one was like mid-circle 2 off to the left. I didn't expect to even get close with this one. This first one that I threw on pure hyzer, the Radiant Taffy, that actually wasn't even like that great of a pull, was Circle's Edge, short. But then, I mean, we all saw the orange one that like, which I thought, the orange Radiant Taffy one with these, since they have a little bit of dome, being able to put them like on that Anheuser angle, actually pushed all the way out here to like tap in putt. So next hole is just a pure forehand. I'm not even really going to attempt the backhand turnover because this is not the disc for that. So I'm going to throw these on some like hyzer flat and hopefully like a little bit of a flex line on forehand. And that way we can get a pretty good feel of what they're like for that utility forehand slot. Right through this gap, it's a pretty big gap to hit if I'm being honest. But you want something that cuts pretty hard to the right, but also has a little bit of push to it. That is one thing I've noticed about these discs versus like a Captain's Raptor or a very overstable 9-speed. It wants to fight out of Anheuser just as quick, but it seems to have just like a tick more glide than a very overstable 9-speed. Except for these glow ones. These glow ones, like, they get to the ground. That being said, I'm going to throw the glow one first. And we're going to go flex forehand, because I know this one can handle it for sure. Go in. Alright, so you can see that angle. I threw that like this. And it slipped out a little bit early, but I mean, it was a very harsh anhyzer, and it just immediately fought out. All right, let's go more flat release with this orange one. Through the trees, flat. That's right, like on Circle's Edge. All right, a little bit more hyzer with this blue one. That one go in. That hit the same thing the first one hit, and I'm not sure what it was. Here's the thing, like I said earlier, if you have a forehand, or if you're looking for something very overstable for your forehand that just is going to have a lot of forgiveness if you yoink it over, this is definitely the disc. You know, I played baseball my whole life. I was never phenomenal at it, but I played baseball my whole life. And so forehands, side hands as Broderick calls them, like, they come pretty natural for me, so I can find use out of a disc like this. But if you are not someone who has, I don't know, played any kind of sport that involves throwing a ball or something, you're probably going to really struggle with this disc. But there are a lot of you out there too that are looking like, I want something more overstable than a Firebird, a Raptor, an FD3, whatever. And if that's what you're looking for, this is that disc. Glow and finish the most overstable, way over here to the right. The one that I threw pure hyzer, but it's the Radiant Taffy, a little bit more dome. It was the closest. It was also probably the best shot. And then the one that I threw flat, that's also a little bit more domey plastic, finished over here at Circle's Edge. But also kind of grip locked it a little bit, as you can see from the video. And so for me, it is just way more of a disc that I can rely on for like shorter, something I need without a shadow of a doubt, no matter the wind or whatever, it is going to finish overstable. So I like this disc for shots like that. But going off of what I said in the intro too, like why I think this is the most overstable non-speed on the market right now, is because with like your typical Firebird or FD3, Raptor, whatever, typically those discs are a little bit more straight with a strong overstable finish. And so Discraft comes out with the Captain's Raptor, which was like a more overstable Raptor. And it was a more overstable Raptor. It is a more overstable Raptor, but the Captain's Raptor that I've thrown was like the Jawbreaker Flex, like Tour Series, and it really has failed me multiple times in the wind when I'm trying to throw more of a flat to slight anhyzer shot with the disc. And honestly, it kind of shocked me. So the reason why I say the Crazy Hawk is more overstable than the Captain's Raptor is because typically I can't throw this disc on enough anhyzer to make it not fight out. And looking back on those times where like a cap wrap kind of failed me, this is definitely something I would have preferred to use. A lot of times people could always argue that you just need to be able to throw with a little bit more power control, angle control, and accuracy, and it would be fine. And you're probably right, but a lot of times in tournaments or whatever the situation, I don't want to have to focus on perfect power control or angle control. I just want to throw something hard on a one simple angle and let the disc do the work. Enough ranting. Last hole. It is 329 feet. There's a Mando left of the fence. The basket is probably 100 feet right angled past that fence. Very, very difficult hole. And so typically the play here is you for sure want to be safe around the corner. Just don't miss the Mando, right? So you can play very, very left. The problem that I have is I've tried throwing some overstable discs on some hyzer flips and try to take it by the air, but I've kind of pushed them a little too straight. So I think a disc like this with just a lot of bite can actually get a really big skip and kind of get us to Circle's Edge. So we're going to see. First off, the glow. I didn't see it skip, but that was the one I thought had the least likely chance of getting there. All right, orange guy. Made the Mando, barely. Man, I hope that got a skip. I actually liked that one out of the hand. All right, blue guy. That one might be it. Come on. Honestly, kind of liked all of those out of the hand, but I don't know if they're in circle one. I'm actually like really curious now if these are going to be in circle one or even circle two. All right, the glow one furthest away, probably not even circle three. The blue one past the basket, but again, not even circle three. Then the orange one, I would say is like mid circle two, so we'll give it a shot. Maybe. Oh man, come on. Maybe that's it. Nope. Dang. It's starting to rain. So I'm gonna give you my final thoughts pretty quick. And while I'm doing that, I'll throw up the couple of shots that I attempt just to get max distance with these. The Jester Disc Golf Crazy Hawk. I think it's a great disc. Very, very, very overstable. I cannot express enough like how overstable this disc is. Like, I don't know if you could tell, but when I was throwing these on forehand, I was torquing on them just about as hard as I'm gonna throw on forehand because I don't want to hurt my shoulder or anything. And on backhand, you could tell that they like no matter how much anhyzer I try to put on these, they would just automatically fight out. That being said, these Radiant Taffy plastic ones I think are my favorite because they're the most workable. And they actually have some push and glide to them. Like I can still get these 300 plus feet. This board flat glow one though, it's not going nowhere, which some people would probably love. Thank you again, Jester Disc Golf. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. My In the Bag is up on the channel too. Be sure to go check that out. And also, my buddy Luke is going to be throwing these on his channel over at Empire Disc Golf. I'll link his channel in the description. He throws further than me. I'm like a 400 plus thrower. He's a 500 plus thrower. So I'm curious to see how these are going to fly for him. Love y'all. Stay snappy. See you in the next one. If Alabama weather decides to stop being bad. A raindrop literally hit me on the ear as soon as I said that.